Okay, so what's going on, everybody? I'm Tyler Arnott, and today I'm going to walk through some of the niches that I think are most lucrative and profitable today in SMMA. I'm someone who's been delving into the world of SMA for a minute now, and I think I've accrued some good knowledge when it comes to niche picking, because I've been in that process for such a long time, just like I'm sure a lot of you have, and that you've been spinning your head around what niche you should get into. But today I want to kind of clear up what I think are the best niches to get into today. And on top of that, why you should get into the niche more than just if you should get into the niche, because there's a lot that goes into it. And someone that's previously been a lawyer would be more likely to do the lawyer niche than someone who hasn't. There's a lot of background things that'll make it more sensible for you to choose your niche. It depends on who you are as a person. But I'm going to walk you through what I think is the best for someone who's just starting out, because I'm sure that's what a lot of you guys are doing, and I'm going to walk you through what I was thinking when I was just starting out. So I just laid out some of those obvious niches, some of the ones that are most common. There are so many niches out there, and you could start doing SMMA for travel soccer teams or travel basketball, like travel teams. I actually thought about this a long time ago. I was like, what even is that? It's a possibility. You can do it for anything. The point is, take these different ideas. I'm just going to help you evaluate exactly which one you should devote to, because there's so much. It's so convoluted. There's so much content about this. Instead of just looking at a bunch of videos, kind of identify which one makes the most sense right now and just stick to it. So first off, on the top here we have house repair. House repair would be like fence repair, like tile repair, window repair is another one. There's a lot of companies based in this realm, and the only reason I wouldn't recommend it for most people is because it is really, really, really boring. And a lot of people have said this. That being said, if you do like this sort of thing, or if you have had experience in house repair yourself, or if you kind of know the ropes of that realm a bit more than others, then I would say it'd be advantageous for you to begin doing that. But again, for a newcomer that's just got into the game, it's probably going to be really boring, just because, you're kind of just helping people fix their windows, and I'm not sure if those businesses are the most entertaining, let's say, to you. That being said, you don't have to do a niche or choose a niche because it's fun. Scaling it on a 1 through 10 score, I'd give it like a 7, and I'll do that for all of these. And a 7's not bad. It just means it is lucrative, it is good. It's just a bit more particular, and it is something that I was looking at in the beginning, but then I realized this is just not interesting to me. The next thing is chiropractors. Now, chiropractors, I actually really like this, and I was about to get into this. I think chiropractors it makes a lot of sense. This is a good niche, and I'd give this probably like an 8 out of 10, in fact. Because it makes sense. And by the way, all these numbers out of 10 is just me saying that. I think that any of these niches could work, and all you got to do is just start working. But and anything that works for you works. But if you kind of like the idea of what chiropractors do, and you think that that'd be a cool thing to dive into, I do recommend this niche. It's one that I was very much contemplating in the beginning of my journey. Physical therapists, I love this because I actually had to go to physical therapy myself for reasons that I won't disclose. But I did have to go to physical therapy. This is a niche that I was super interested in because I had a personal relationship to it. That's the niche that you honestly want to start thinking about more. So it's like, if you love going to the gym, maybe think about doing the gym niche, because you'll be very enthralled throughout the entire process. You'll be riveted by the actual business itself, not just about your business and helping them with their client acquisition, but you'd also like and enjoy what you do for their clients, which is something that matters. Physical therapy, I really liked. The only issue here is that unless you're working with a physical therapy studio where they have multiple different physical therapists in one location, you can only bring so many clients to one physical therapist that works like mobile, right? That just like kind of works. Because again, you'd be marketing for one singular physical therapist, which I'm sure he'd have your help, but it's just not that lucrative because there's just simply a cap. Physical therapy, I love the idea of helping people with that, but you'd have to look for physical therapy studios. If you could do physical therapy studios, then I would recommend this niche, and it's definitely a possibility. So for that, I'd give it like a 6. If you could do a studio, I'd give that like an 8. Next thing would be dentists. Now, dentists, a lot of people say that this is really, really good, and it is. The only issue that I've learned, and a lot of people also say this, I guess, on the contrary, but it's that there's always a receptionist that picks up, and the receptionists are always so used to taking cold calls. So the second they hear a pitch, they're just like hang up the phone, or they're just like, whatever. But you could always get through that. And so dentists is good. It's a good niche. And if you've been working on dentists, I'm not saying to stop because it's like terrible, but I do think that it's something that you kind of hit a wall with. And so you'll have a lot of hang-ups. You have a lot of hang-ups on all these niches, but dentists probably the most out of anything. So for that, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 as well. But again, 6 out of 10 could be made a 10 out of 10 for you, depending on what you do. Next thing is gyms, right? I like gyms a lot. I think it's one of those kind of like more elementary kind of simple niches, and that like it's probably the most popular SMMA niche that there is gyms, like getting gyms clients. I also think that most people's interests will align with gyms as opposed to everything else on this list. I mean, if you look at the entire list, like gyms is the only thing that actually might be more prevalent across everyone's interests. I think gyms is a really good niche. I think gym is a really good niche. I think it's also a really good niche to get into early. I know most people who succeeded massively in SMMA like years ago started with gyms, and they're doing great. I'd give the gym like an 8 out of 10. I think it's really good. Orthodontists I really like as well. It's similar to my niche, which is med spas, but orthodontists is really interesting because I feel like there's a lot of high ticket clients that can be gotten there, and it's a great niche and I know people that use this. I know a lot of creators on this platform that use this niche, that are in this niche, and it's very lucrative. It can be extremely high ticket, as opposed to a lot of these. You'll start around like 1,500, 2,000 in terms of your payout upon your delivery. That is, and with orthodontists, it could probably be upwards of 3,000-4,000, and you could even start there, and that would make sense because there's just, depending on obviously your guarantee, but getting one client in an orthodontist could be far more profitable as opposed to any of these other niches, because an orthodontist costs a lot of money. Orthodontist I'd give like an 8 out of 10 as well. It's really good. The next one is kind of interesting. I put agencies, and that's because there's actually a lot of marketing agencies that help agencies get clients. If you're an agency, you could help other agencies get more clients, and by doing that, you'll have this sort of never-ending demand cycle, because there's always more agencies every day, and you're an agency, and it's kind of like it works really well, and it's very much. I think it's probably the least saturated in terms of, not many people think to do this. Saturation isn't always a bad thing, but with agencies, it's like, it's funny because we're the people who are trying to get the clients. So if you have someone come to an agency and say, hey, I'm going to get you 10 clients for your agency for whatever niche you're in. The problem is that you have to know a lot about their niche. So you have to know about a bunch of different niches. And so you could help agencies in a specific niche. So you could, for example, you could help agencies in the gym niche, help them get gym clients. So you're helping an agency. So you see how this gets all crazy? It is really good. I would just say that you need some sort of experience in a different niche or in working alone before you do this. You don't need it, but you could possibly use it. I do think it's a good niche, though. I think it's awesome. I think a lot of coaching businesses are formatted like this, where they have like, I'll get you 15 clients for your agency or your money back. And that's a really, really good offer. And it's really, really good for another reason. You can market it on YouTube. And that's why it's really good. And hopefully I could eventually switch to that niche one day, because that's what you want to do once you become an expert, is sell your expertise by getting other people clients for their agencies. So great niche. That's like a 9 out of 10, kind of like a dream niche. Next one is med spas, which is my niche. I decided to start in med spas after like 2 months of heavy scrutiny and sort of deep thought towards what niche would be the best specifically for me. Med spas made the most sense because it had this perfect balance, to me at least, of sort of high ticket, reoccurring services. The business owners, I would think, wouldn't be too hard to close, meaning I know the demographic. I also know the demographic when it comes to the advertising, when it comes to like, it's going to be a lot of middle-aged moms. They're going to be congregating on Facebook. And I also kind of could estimate what the owner would want and what their pain points would be. And so it kind of gave me a good insight into and I kind of thought about and mapped out a good plan for it. And once I thought about that, I was just like, okay, well, screw everything else. Let me just focus on med spas. And then I went with it. There's a lot of SMA videos about med spas. There's so many people that are in the med spa niche, and it's very saturated. But saturation, when you don't shy away from it and when you take it head on, you can oftentimes win big because of it. So I'd give med spas like an 8 out of 10 as well, because it's amazing. Next one is real estate. Real estate's really good because you could get them one client and it'll give them an ROI, because one real estate client can be massive. It is really good. It's just difficult. I don't know much about it, and I would recommend it for people that, again, have more acumen within the world of real estate. But if you don't, then I would kind of do a lot of research into this, because how SMA works in real estate is completely different from all these other niches. Real estate could be great. It's just so different than all these other niches. So it's its own vacuum, it's its own realm. If you're good at it, you're good at it. And if you are able to get clients and to deliver in real estate, it could be such a massively lucrative business. The same way that I was talking about orthodontists, you can make so much money and you could charge so much more. So I'd also give this like an 8 out of 10. Next one is lawyers. I would stay away from lawyers because it's so logistical, and it's just, unless you have experience with being a lawyer, it's not good, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's just like, and it's also putting too much faith in the lawyer. It's like getting them a client. It's a world that I wouldn't really want to explore that much. If you did, then by all means go ahead, but I just don't recommend it in terms of what I think. So I'd give this like a 4 or 5 out of 10, or even a 3 or something. But next one is roofing and solar, which I think is amazing, super high ticket. I think this is a really good niche. It's one of the best niches you could possibly get into. It might not be the most fun niche, similarly to a house repair, but it's super lucrative, super profitable, and I know that for sure. Yeah, I like roofing and solar a lot. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Really good. Tattoo removal is the last one. This is a really, I was gonna do tattoo removal, and it's really niched. It's really particular. It's really specific. There's a lot of problems with it, but there's also a lot of reasons to start with it, at least. And I wouldn't say you could scale a tattoo removal business as easily as you could scale a med spa business, or as easily as you could scale an orthodontist business, but it is something that could be really good for entry level SMMA businesses, as well as people that are kind of contemplating between doing med spas and tattoo removal, because they're really similar. And a lot of med spas offer tattoo removal. The one thing I will say with all of these, and I'll give tattoo removals like a 7 out of 10 as well. But the thing is with all these niches is that they will all work, and I would say the main thing is to zoom in on a specific service in a specific niche in the beginning. Meaning, instead of just doing house repair, you do specifically fence repair, or specifically in roofing and solar, you do like a specific type of solar or roofing, just to be really particular about it and to make sure that you're catering to one specific niche that's really, really, really niched. And this is so the client kind of respects that you are focusing on their exact service, and so you learn that exact service as best as you possibly can instead of diversifying too much. Same with like med spas. We do specifically Botox and derma fillers, so we don't do all the other stuff. There's so many different med spa services. We focus on Botox and derma fillers. That's what I could recommend. That's what makes sense to me. And even like gyms, specifically focusing on personal trainers maybe. Yeah, I would say that's the good sort of SMMA niche guide. These are a bunch of niches. There's so many more than this, but I kind of explained and walked you through what I found, because I did a lot of research on all these different niches, studying exactly how they would be if I dedicated to it. And yeah, I think you could use this to your advantage. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment below what you think would be another good video idea, and any questions you have as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much. Peace.